Go ahead.
All right, professional.
Hello.
He was reading. We interrupted his reading.
I'm trying to find. Did you guys see Tom Lawler honored me?
Aren't you?
Yeah, honored all over me.
That was lucky you.
Tom posted on Twitter a bit of a rap. He fancies himself a wordsmith apparently, and he put together a little rap about the events in Dubai.
So I think Tom must do something with the Wrestling Observer newsletter because that's where this came from. I'm not sure if he was doing an interview or he's got a spot on that show, or whatever.
Who's this? Tom Lawler?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Tom Hanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, Frank. Wrong Tom.
Sorry.
Tom Hanks. Forrest Gump paid tribute to you? That was nice.
Yeah, maybe start this over. Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah, Tom Lawler, Wrestling Observer.
He must do a spot for them because this is where this came from, and they obviously were. He was asked about your fight, and he came up with this gem of a rap.
Yeah, he just spit the flow.
He spit something.
Yeah.
So then what do we want to do here, gentlemen? Do we want to give the Twitter specifics for how a listener might find said?
So if you go to your Twitter page, if you go to the podcast's Twitter page, they are posted there as we speak.
Uh-huh.
Or you can go to the Wrestling Observer newsletter also, but they don't help us out.
Yes. All right. I have it right here. Well, gentlemen, let's not keep our guest this week on hold, and that would be rude. And I've seen this man when people are rude to him. And Frank and Dennis, you don't know him quite as well, but I have seen him smash his shin into their legs. And I don't want that to be the outcome for either of you because you guys all just met. So, let's not get me in the middle of these things. Alec Brooks, Coach Alec Brooks. Yes, are you there, sir?
Thanks for having me, guys. What an introduction.
Yeah.
You make me sound, man.
Is there any chance that you can rap as well? I'm just wondering.
When I was younger, we thought we could when we were drinking, but that's not the case. Not at all. It wasn't the case back then. No, not.
Okay. So by younger, we mean what? Like
a couple weeks ago.
Right? Or when you were 10.
Yeah, I was drinking real heavy back then. No, I'd like my early 20s.
Okay.
So, probably when I was like 21, 22. Yeah, that's something frequent. Come up in conversation, try our best style. That's some rap song that was popular at the time. No, yeah, it didn't. Like I said, we thought it sounded cool, and then the morning, this wasn't a little messed up.
Okay, gentlemen, I gotta ask: is that spotty audio on your end too, or is this just me getting here in the spotty audio when Coach talks?
No, spotty here too.
Okay. I don't have headphones like a microphone.
That's good right there.
That's good. Yeah, you're just gonna have to hold it.
Okay. Yeah, I can hold it. No problem.
Your phone. I don't.
Sorry about that. I'm not quite the professional with podcasts here.
Yeah.
Same.
Either way.
Welcome to the show.
Well, it really depends on what you're holding. Like I held a number 2 for a long time last night. Whole ride home.
Yeah.
Actually, on the second leg of our flight. Yeah, it got pretty rough. Yeah, by the time I walked through the door here in Ormond Beach, it was go time.
Game on?
Yeah. My insides were telling me like, hey, listen, You know, you made us hang out for a bit here and not necessarily mad at you, but if you don't get somewhere, wherever you are in the next 60 seconds is where this is happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just wanted to share that with you.
That was great. That was
Sharing
great.
is caring.
Yeah. All right. So where were we here, boys? What do you think? Do we finish up with Lawler's rap, or do we get into Coach Alec's credentials here? Because this man was not a drunk that I found off the street. You know, who I asked, like, "Hey, you think you can throw some hands?"
Well, let's start there.
All right. So I met Alec when I started training Muay Thai, just MMA in general at the Jungle in Orlando, and that would have been when I moved. I trained some jiu-jitsu at a Gracie place in Oviedo, which is in Orlando, where I lived at the time, but then spoke to Tom Lawler, who we had just spoken about, and Tom was one of the founding members of the Jungle MMA and Fitness, along with Mike Lee and Seth Petroselli. These are the gentlemen that Coach Alec Brooks works for at the moment, and that's how I met the young Jedi.
Yeah, man. I remember one of the first weeks that you came in. We got along pretty much immediately, just because I think you probably had some Bang Muay Thai shorts on, and we started talking about all that. Yeah, it was great. It was a good little connection from the start, man. You know, you had good technique, good skills. You were willing to listen to someone who was younger than you. That's a problem that I come across sometimes. I'm 28. You know, a lot of coaches in the area might be in their late 30s or like early 40s or something like that, more veterans in the sport. But yeah, no, you didn't have a problem with it. You know, I think in your head, this guy works here, he knows what he's doing, and I appreciate that. You put a lot of faith and trust in me over the years with learning this stuff and me being your coach and helping you out with everything. So I do appreciate it, man. It's not always as appreciated there with some guys more your age in the gym. I've told you before, I get the guys who don't respect me that much are the ones who are a little bit older than me. They whatever reason they might have, sometimes they don't do it.
Yeah, I think for some people it may be a difficult thing. For me, like, I don't know. I look at martial arts as just something where, like, it's one of those endeavors in your life that if you really fall in love with it, you'll do the rest of your life, and hopefully at no point do you feel as if, like, oh, I have nothing left to learn. And then that means that, like, I can learn from literally anyone. And I think for me, the biggest thing coming into their coach and meeting all these new people was, like, I've always been very much a stickler for technique. And, your technique is spot on in everything. And I remember one of the first things you helped me with was kind of tweaking a little bit my wheel kick. And I don't remember what the change was, but I was throwing a better wheel kick after just a couple days of that conversation. And it was like, the proof was just in the pudding. And you can see people can hide shit here and there, but when you spend like a few days, you can't hide it forever. Like, eventually the person comes out. So
yeah.
I could see the technique came first, and that was just always something that really was would make an impression on me. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad, man.
Yeah. Well, very much reciprocated. So, Coach, you are the Muay Thai instructor at the Jungle. I know Coach Eric holds a similar title too. What exactly is your title now? Because I know you and Coach Drew, over the time that I've spent at the Jungle, which has been on and off a bit, but I've watched as you and Coach Drew, another coach / fighter, and I say fighter because Coach Alec fights MMA and was fighting Muay Thai prior to that, as well as coaching. But your and Drew's jobs have seemed to increase over the years, we'll say.
Yeah, definitely. When I first started working at the Jungle, it was like 4 hours a week doing like some simple desk stuff, and then started working my way to kids, and then started doing adults, and then I was there full time. But yeah, I've been there. It'll be, I think, 7 years. Yeah, years in January will be since like the first time I ever walked in there. I've been working there about 6 years now. I've been doing Muay Thai almost 10 years. I've done boxing. I've done, like Dutch style kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. I've been doing for a little bit now there, about 6 years. Started doing martial arts when I was a kid. Coach Eric is one of the other striking coaches there. I teach the most classes at the downtown location. Coach Drew teaches all of them over there at the Lake Mary location, and quite a few of them at the downtown location as well. But Coach Eric, another phenomenal guy, another phenomenal coach. One of my, he's helped me increase my skill and knowledge in Muay Thai. Been there quite a long time. He's been doing Muay Thai for like 14 years or something like that. The dude has a lot of experience, has some great fights, undefeated as a professional kickboxing fighter. He doesn't really compete anymore, so he could, but I always tease him every year. I was like, this is going to be the year Eric gets back. And he actually went to at the beginning of 2020, and then the world had other plans.
Sure.
That didn't happen. Coach Drew, phenomenal guy, phenomenal coach, phenomenal fighter as well. Can't say enough nice things. He has helped me a lot in my fight camps. He's my main pad holder. He is, in a sense, my striking coach when it comes to MMA fights, just because he's had a lot of MMA experience. He's great at holding mid. Well, he's been for a while. I've been through a lot.
Breaking up a bit there.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
Is that better, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. But yeah, Drew and I help each other out a lot for fights. He's a black belt in Taekwondo, I believe. He's been doing Muay Thai a long time, doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling a long time. Overall, just phenomenal athlete. Drew is one of those guys that can do bare knuckle boxing, karate combat, MMA. He can do a Muay Thai fight. He could do like combat jiu-jitsu. Like he could do everything. The timing just has to be right, and money just has to be there at this point. All of it.
So basically, Frank, don't get any ideas because Drew could kick your ass.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude.
Yeah, just so you know. Just want everybody to be in their place on this podcast.
But yeah, overall, just phenomenal coaching and staff that we have there. Coach Enrique is another one of the coaches that he teaches mostly boxing.
Yeah.
But dude kicks it, man. He's 60 years old, has hip replacements done, but man, he can kick higher than all of us. And
Really?
Yeah, dude, he's great. I love that guy. I love that he's there still coaching and being a good dude and helping people out at 60 years old.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, we actually, I know Coach Alec has a fight of his own. Coach Alec's fighting pretty much just MMA at this point. That'll be coming up in December. So we would like to extend the invitation for you to come back as that fight gets closer, Coach. I guess, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong here. Let's get into the preparation for this fight that we just did in Dubai. Coach was part of Team Fish, I guess we'll call it.
Absolutely.
The other members were my beautiful wife and Andy Roy. Yeah, so that was, in essence, that was Team Fish for the past week over there. And we went over to Dubai. We had a great time. I mean, we really did. And we came back with so that was my first professional boxing fight. And I am officially 1-0 with 1 knockout. Yes, so congratulations to me and the heralded Coach Alec. I mean, honestly, if I look at it, like as far as what the outcomes could have been, and they were numerous, to be sitting here right now having this conversation and to be 1-0 as a professional boxer and TKO. I don't know. Couldn't hope for better, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied.
I guess unless you just knocked him out with the first punch that you threw, that would probably be better, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
McGregor.
Coach, we talked too about the likelihood of there being a leg kick that came out somewhere, and that would have been a whole different outcome.
Yeah.
They were damn near a belly to belly. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, these are all. So let's go back to. I think a great place to start is when I signed for this fight. I wanted to do kickboxing or MMA. Kickboxing, I've done 3 amateur kickboxing fights, so that was kind of the lane I was looking to go. This came about, fell into my lap. I believe we've covered it on the podcast a little bit, how that came to be. So we won't rehash that, but it was the Floyd Mayweather undercard. It only made sense. I had not been training that much at the Jungle at that point. I'd gotten busier with pro wrestling again, and it just, schedules. So I called Coach Alec. We spoke. They knew a few boxing coaches because I thought, okay, that's kind of what I need. I need a boxing coach. And when I went in for the first time and hit some mitts and stuff with Coach Alec just to, just get some of the rust off, the conclusion I had come to probably 10 minutes into the session was just, what am I doing? Why am I looking for another boxing coach when I have this right here? And he knows me. And we've trained together, and there's a familiarity there, not to mention a wealth of knowledge. And now, granted, Muay Thai and kickboxing are far different from boxing, but and it's not as simple as oh, okay, well, you just don't kick. No, it's very nuanced. But I knew that the skill level of Coach Alec and the knowledge of Coach Alec was exactly all that I could have been looking for. So before the end of that session, I had asked him if he would just be my coach and do that, as opposed to just coming in and taking classes and sparring and being friends and whatnot. But we're gonna, and he was all about it, and off we went. Was there anything else, Coach, that you remember, or anything that sticks out to you from that kind of build up?
Yeah, I was just honestly thrilled that you said that. It meant a lot to me that you put a lot of faith and trust into me, what I know and what I can do. Like you said, I'm not exactly a boxing coach. It's not my specialty. Do I know a little bit about boxing? Yeah. I don't know. It made me happy that you put all that faith and trust into me there, for sure. And I knew we weren't going to waste any time like I do with any other fighter. We're going to get right to it, come up with a game plan, figure out who you're fighting, watch some tape, go from there, learn about them, figure out how we can expose their weaknesses and play to your strengths. And that was just that. After you asked me to do that, we got all on board with it. We started figuring out more information and started flying there. Everything that we needed, anything that we would normally do, Any one of my kickboxing guys, any one of my MMA guys, we find out who the opponent is, get a game plan going, start strategizing, and putting the work in. And it's kind of just as simple as that.
Yeah. And so, Dennis, Frank, anything in that process that you are wondering about?
Was the prep time ample, or is it too short of a window? Because it seemed like from mid-September to November. Is that normal, or is that right about the same time?
I would say, about an 8-week fight camp is pretty normal. It may have been just a tad short, just because, like Bobby had mentioned that it wasn't in the gym too regularly for a bit. And that happens. He moved, he was busy, just getting married or whatever, just all that.
Yeah.
But no, he was busy with a lot of important things in his life, and then this opportunity falls into his lap. With the amount of time that we had, I remember the conversation I had with Bobby. We were working very specific boxing techniques to start. And then I thought to myself, I was like, nah, this isn't going to be enough time to get him to do this. Because for one, it's not his style. Bobby likes to press forward at people. He's not going to like hang back and, kind of Mayweather stuff. And, oddly enough, we were fighting on the Mayweather undercard, but it's not his style. He's got more of a, what I've heard anyway, to be a Mexican boxing style where you put that guard up and you walk forward, you pressure people down, you hit them heavy, you hit them hard. That's more of what he does anyway with Muay Thai, with kickboxing. So he was going to do the same thing with boxing. But we got what we needed done in the time that we were given. We came up with a good game plan. We tried to execute everything in the fight. Didn't have as much time to do everything, but certain things worked really well. I remember being super proud of one thing that we had drilled a lot, and it worked very, very well. Yeah, it was a decent amount of time. Could we have had more? Sure. But I think we did really well for what we were given.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I couldn't have asked for, for a better outcome as I sit here today. I did feel like when the fight ended, like I was just kind of getting comfortable. So, I guess that leaves me with still a little bit of a scratch to itch, and not necessarily a bad thing. There is a second fight to be had with Global Titans. Preliminarily, we're talking maybe sometime in February, but we don't know. We don't know who it's against, what exactly it's going to be. Fingers are certainly crossed for it to be kickboxing or MMA. I think kickboxing is the one that makes the most sense. I think that's the one that has the best odds of happening with Global Titans. But yeah, it's all kind of up in the air. Let's see. As far as the preparation, there were definitely a few hiccups in the road. Coach Alec can remember back to first day of conditioning training that week, and first sprint I did. Pretty sure I pulled my hamstring. Yeah, which is probably par for the course when you're about to celebrate your 46th birthday, and you decide like, fuck, now is the time to do this. But I remember having the self-talk conversation where it was kind of like, like for the first 10 minutes being like, oh man, what are the odds? And, woe is me, blah, 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 the way that all of us as human beings do. And then also thinking about the fighters that have come through the gym, like Coach Alec himself, and that you hear it all the time, just being a fight fan, like, oh, you get hurt in camp, et cetera, et cetera. And the more you think about it, like as the layman, I think people, they misinterpret that. Like, we're not talking, like 60% of camps. No, I would think, and Tom Lawler would have been another one to talk to you about this, but like almost every single camp, there's not one injury. There's multiple injuries because the amount of hours that you're putting in, hitting pads, sparring, if it's MMA, you're wrestling, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're doing all these other things, and then conditioning on top of it. Like, the body's only got so much to give. And so these injuries, they are, they pile up. And the conclusion I came to was like, okay, I'm not the first guy that was starting a fight camp and, quote unquote, pulled a hamstring or hurt himself on the first day. Like, I can sit here and feel sorry for myself and be like, oh, well, I got to pull out, miss this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Or I can just be a fucking man instead of not a man. And do something different and just make a different decision on this whole thing. And that's kind of what it was. And it was that way through the whole camp, because then there was another instance not long after that when it came to sparring. A little bit of ended up with 6 stitches over my eye. And that was a couple weeks into the fight camp. Not something we could share at the time, but now I feel like, it's, whatever. So again, it had just different obstacles and reasons to go. You know what? I think we'll take a mulligan on this one. We won't participate. But I don't know. I mean, you would know better than I, Coach. Is that kind of the norm for fight camps?
Injuries, yeah, and don't forget sickness too, illness. I mean, that happens, and it did happen to you. You got sick at one point, and it killed your gas tank for, what, 2 or 3 days? Yeah, you were killing it doing like 6 rounds of mitts in a row, and you got sick. You came back that Monday, and you were dying again after like 3. But by the end of that week, you were back up doing like 7 rounds. It is what it is there, and you made it through it. But yeah, injuries, man, all the time. It's a damn shame. It's just kind of built into the sports. I mean, several sports, I'm sure, anything heavy contact, are just a lot of explosive movement. Even things like golf. I imagine sometimes somebody twists the wrong way and they pull their back or something. Like, I don't know. You deal with it, get through it. Yeah, I've had mine, injuries and fights. Everybody does. You had the hamstring, you had the eye, you had the sickness, and thankfully that was about it. But yeah, no, that's just part of it. It happens so often. It happens every fight camp for pretty much everybody to an extent. Not everybody's going to get their eyes split open.
Sure.
But, one of our guys, Lucas, another phenomenal fighter and coach at the gym, he teaches a lot of fitness classes, does a lot of private lessons. But he, right before his fight, I think at the last sparring session, so like the week before the fight, he messed up his shoulder. But he was like, I'm not pulling out of this. I need to get through this fight, and I need to win. And then he's ready to go pro now. He just needed that last fight to go pro. He was supposed to have that last fight way earlier in the year, and things got messed up. But yeah, he got it done. He got out there, fought, beat the dude really, really, decisively, but then choked him out in the 3rd round. So didn't even have to go to the judges. But yeah, he had his shoulder injured, made it through it. It's rough sometimes, but it is what it is.
I think the conclusion I've come to with all of it is like it's the most growth in our lives are on the other side of the difficult things that happen in our life. And as a kid or a person growing up, like you play sports and you confront these difficult situations that you don't see other places. And then you learn things about yourself. I mean, Frank, I would think that you could talk a bit on that as well from your years playing football and how many lessons you gleaned or things that you just learned about yourself from a difficult scenario in football, whether that be a game or practice or the fact that you're competing with, maybe a friend of yours for the same spot or whatever it is. It's like these things are what kind of shape the human being and the adult that you're going to be. And I can't imagine without these little lessons that I got to learn firsthand and continue to learn, obviously, because I just turned 46 and I just, did this. I don't know where my life would be without these things. I just don't think anywhere near the good place that it is without it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well said.
Yeah. Thanks, Frank. Thanks. So getting to the event in Dubai, obviously there's some mileage to cross, and there's some passports to be checked, baggage, and all that other stuff. So that in and of itself was some fun as far as getting there. Coach, what were your so is that not your first time out of the country, right? Because you just got back from Italy.
Yeah.
Prior to that,
shortly.
Was Italy the first time out of the country?
Not technically. I'd been on
Okay.
Mexico.
Okay.
That's so close. It doesn't feel that far.
Yeah, those kind of count, but kind of not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
going to Italy and then Dubai felt way more out of the country, being on the opposite side of the world.
Yeah. Frank, Dennis, as far as excursions out of the country, what's the furthest away from the old good old US of A you've been?
Bahamas?
Yeah, like that's about all I've done is like the Bahamas or Montreal when we were in like 7th grade.
Okay. Did you guys fight anyone from Ghana in the Bahamas?
No.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did.
I had somebody ask me.
Was
Frank,
it
you got-
Kamala?
The Ugandan giant, yes.
Oh, Frank, things come full circle.
Wow. The only thing that I was offered in the Bahamas was a chance to party. That was it. It was the weirdest thing I've
Jungle
ever.
juice.
Is
On the
this
street.
like,
Literally, the guy walked up to me. He goes, "You guys party?"
oh,
I'm
he
like-
wanted to give you a hand job.
Maybe. In my nose. It was weird. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I mean, as long as you don't have to do it yourself. Not that there's anything wrong with doing it yourself. But they do say you'll go blind if you do it too often.
I don't know. I'm not blind yet.
Is that why I got glasses?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why I wear glasses. As long as you're a younger lad, I couldn't really keep my hands off myself. I'm handsome. Yeah. So anyway, Dubai. Whew, boys, I would imagine, if not for this scenario, that I would have ventured to Dubai for anything in my lifetime. But especially with the potential now to maybe go back in February. It's crazy, but man, Dubai, and please jump in where you feel you'd like to, Coach. But Dubai, what a place, man!
Yeah,
Holy shit!
certainly amazing and definitely different from anything we have over here.
Yeah, we saw the Burj Khalifa, which I think for the first 3 days I called it the Wiz Khalifa because I'm that. I've jumped the shark that poorly. I thought my kids would get a laugh out of it. I sent them a picture of it and I said, "Look, girls, the Wiz Khalifa," but no response. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't. They were busy.
I didn't get it.
They had stuff going on. I don't know who Wiz Khalifa is. But so as huge of a place as it was, I've never seen a cleaner place in my life.
Wait. You're saying it's cleaner than Albany, New York?
Come on, Frank, let's be reasonable here. Let's be reasonable. Yes, of course. Holy shit.
Wow.
It's like the antithesis of Albany, New York.
What was the food like? What'd you eat?
Coach, I'll let you take this one first.
Oh man, the food actually messed me up a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Still, but yeah, we went to a Lebanese place called Zor, and I got basically 3 food items. I got these vegetable samsas that were good. They're just basically fried dough with stuff in it, and then I got baba ganoush. And
Baba ganoush.
dude, I hated it. It was awful, and I told me that they're like, "What? It's so good," and I'm like, "No, whatever I had was not what you're explaining to me."
Yeah.
Like guacamole, but it tasted like shit and weird consistency. It fucked my stomach up, and I was not happy. 2 out of 10 with that, and would never ever again anywhere else. Yeah, I don't care if the old lady next door is like, "Here, I spent 8 hours making this baba ganoush for you." I would throw it on the floor and step on it. I don't want it. There were some that we ate that were good, but that was just what stuck out most. I was like, yes, like we're going to this real authentic like Lebanese place, and it's gonna have obviously really great stuff. The one thing was good, the other thing sucked, and yeah, I'm like still dealing with how that's affecting my body right now. But
a little bit of Montezuma's revenge. In
Yeah.
defense, Coach. That'll sour anyone on their experience.
You had some good stuff though. Y'all ate.
We did. We ate. My wife and I had some of the best food we've ever had in our lives there. One was at that place, Zor. There was a salad that I got to start with that was eggplant and I don't remember what the other thing was, but it was delicious in a crazy way. We've talked about it before on this podcast. I'm vegan, so I won't soil my hands with your filthy meat, dairy, peasant pieces of shit. And it was no different there. The vegan options were actually really good there. Even the hotel restaurant where we stayed had a great plant-based chicken strip and falafel salad that was really good. My wife and I ate at this Green Earth Cafe where we had this almond butter toast thing that was out of this world, and then an avocado toast thing that'll make you slap your mother. Food was good.
I love that when we got to the hotel that first night, and you were talking about the vegan steak tacos. I was like, yeah, that does sound good, but you shouldn't have that. It'll probably be and it won't be good for your weight cut.
Yes.
So when it comes time to order, you're like, so not the tacos. You order your and what will you have? And I was like, I'll have the vegan steak tacos.
Yes. Coach healed me on that.
Yeah.
And without even having a full understanding of how he turned heel or what exactly it means to turn heel, but he did in that moment. He did.
That's a good heel.
Yeah, he was right. He was flexing his heel muscles there. So that brings us to another interesting point here. Coach just brought it up: the weight cut. There was a weight cut in this thing. Dennis, Frank, have you ever indulged in a weight cut?
No.
I'm cutting weight right now.
Hey, he knows.
Look at you. What do you got coming up, Frank?
Survivor Series.
That's right.
Hey, WWE doesn't weigh you.
Mm.
You're pulling a Michael Elgin right now. You are. And I just got to explain to the wrestling fans out there what that is, because Elgin used to wear the sweats and the plastics and whatnot. We'd be on the road and he'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna get on the treadmill and do the whole thing. And it's like the misperception that some people have, and I have to assume that that's what this is, but that you are actually losing fat in that process. You're losing nothing but water.
Yeah.
It's
like going to the sauna.
Yeah, the only thing that changes is the number on the scale. That's it. So if you are a pro wrestler and then you are putting on the plastics to
garbage bag,
right, to go sweat in your cardio, you're what some would call an asshole. Anyway, I'm not here to judge. It is what it is.
So you're making weight.
Right. The fight was at 185, and through this whole camp, I was 195, which Coach assured me was no big thing at all. Every step of the way, it was like, it's not a thing. And as camp went on, we were putting in the hours, and we started doing extra rounds, limited rest. We started doing, there were these Airdyne sprints that the first week we did them, they were like death by Airdyne. I mean, it was some of them, one of the most horrific feelings I'd had in my athletic career. And it was only 3 rounds. And anyway, for some perspective, by the end of the camp, I was doing 7 rounds of those. And not to, pat myself on the back, just trying to give it a metric here. But we get to Dubai, and the first time I step on a scale, after having weighed pretty much no heavier than 196 the whole camp, I was 201. Yeah. So I'm sweating that a bit, no pun intended. But Coach was cool as a cucumber and was like, that's
all good.
I'm not worried about it. It's nothing.
No, man. Not a.
So what day is this going into the fight? Like what's the timeline?
We got there on Tuesday, right? We left here Monday.
Tuesday night, and I think we ended up finding that scale probably Wednesday. Wednesday somehow.
Right. So Wednesday, fight on Sunday.
Yeah.
Step on a scale.
Sure.
201. Knowing I got to be 185, and what's that? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. So 4 days. And like I said, I give the credit to Coach for not being excited about it at all, not worried, not anything, and I just followed the instructions. I will say this: there was a little bit of miscommunication when it came to finding a sauna. A sauna, for anyone who's familiar with weight cutting and water loading, etc., and all the happy nuances of that, like a sauna is pretty essential. And nothing derogatorily coming my way about the company, or I'm not putting it out there, but there was just the miscommunication, and this was one of those things where, like, when you're cutting weight, even if it's a little bit, like 10 pounds, or what was going to be like 16 pounds, you're just not in the greatest of moods, and to have that line from A to B to kind of have different hooks and slides to it, lefts and rights. Yeah, it's tough not to get a little annoyed, and that's kind of what happened. But we did most of the weight cut in the hotel gym.
Yeah.
With I'll have to post some pictures of it. I believe my wife has them on her phone. But we did. It was a self-contained sauna. What would you call that, Coach?
A portable sauna. You
Portable
basically
sauna.
set up the skeleton of it, then you put the fabric part over it, and then there's a little steamer portion that connects to it, makes it nice and hot. You sit in that for a bit. But yeah, portable saunas. I have one at my house. My roommate Kenny, who's a pro fighter, has one. We've sat in that stuff together and died together. It was great. Great times.
Not a lot of room in that thing. So the two of you were in there together, Coach. I mean, were you like, wheelbarrow style? Was it like the Undertaker's tombstone pile driver?
Tap on the chair while I was cutting meat. So
All right.
we each have one.
I just want to have the proper visual in my mind for later. Take from that what you will.
Oh yeah. And
Hey-o.
we have one.
Hey-o.
Taking it separately. All good.
So just to add a little bit of a comedic visual to this, so we get it that night. We go to the hotel gym, and Coach Alec, myself, Andy Roy, my agent, my beautiful wife, we're reading the directions. We're sticking sticks together. We're linking tubes and pouring water and getting this thing going, and then we do the weight cut. And if you know me, and like I would say, you have to kind of know me somewhat intimately. So my wife would fit in that category. Coach Alec is another one of those people who is a card-carrying member of some of that, being that a lot of hours on those mitts. Boys, I'm a sweater. And I don't mean like Christmas sweater.
Ugly sweater?
I'm a sweater. So, so for this whole camp, I had 2 sets of wristbands I would wear on my elbows for Coach, so that he tried to save him from some of the sweat that would fly off of me while he did. So,
I appreciate it.
I'm a moist individual, and so to have me in that portable sauna and kind of encouraging the sweat, it was a pretty comical scene. you know, my wife, Coach Alec, me looking like the Kleenex in a Kleenex box, and then my agent on the incline bench catching some Z's. I mean, literally.
He wasn't throwing the iron up?
He was, what's that?
He wasn't throwing the iron up?
I mean, no. He was definitely catching the Z's. For like a, whatever. I don't even know. How many hours was that, Coach? How long were we in there?
We were probably in that gym area for almost 2 hours. It took us about, it took us a while to set that thing up. But then you were probably in the sauna and out of it for a little over an hour. You didn't have that much to do, and like with everything that we had going on and how much you do sweat, yeah, you lost the weight pretty quickly, and you were more than fine. And I told you, sir, over and over again that you were going to be just fine with these.
Yeah. Having this been the first like actual weight cut, I think that like I'm designed for weight cuts because this was maybe pretty easy. Like for me, the water loading phase of it was like super easy, and I know you had commented on that, but like I just, if it's time to drink water, I just drink water, and just put it down. And I feel full sometimes, but even then, it's like, okay, well, if I gotta have more water, I'll have more water. I wonder, Frank, if this is from the early years in Colony Pop Warner when in order to make weight, I had to drink water. I was too light in the ass.
That's where you learned it.
I started that at 9 years old.
See?
Drinking chugs of water and thinking like, oh, is this like child abuse? But,
so they don't supply you with a gym? When you guys go there, you're working out in the hotel gym?
Yeah.
We were.
Actually, even outside of it, technically. We didn't even really work out in it that much. We went outside on like the pool deck area.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. There was some complications in those arrangements. And what is ideal? Is there anything ideal? Like, it's a fight camp, and fight camps aren't ideal. And if you're waiting for it to be ideal, well, then you're never fighting. It's like the same thing. It's kind of a microcosm for life, and why people probably learn so much from these things about themselves. It's like, if you're waiting for ideal, it's not coming. There is no ideal. There's no perfect situation. Like, you're going to deal with some shit, and it's what life is.
Yep. And
you can either get on with it, or you can bitch and moan and be the martyr and let it be what defines you. Wow, this is getting pretty motivational here, you know?
This has literally been like the deepest podcast I think we've put out so far.
All right, well, let's start talking about let's start sharing some dick jokes or something.
Okay.
Can't have our reputations tarnished. Bring on the dick jokes. Yeah, so weight cut went really, really well. I didn't love it. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was enjoying this thing, but I felt like I took to it all right and made weight. I was actually 183.
Jesus.
Yeah, 183.
I fucking told you, drink some water. I was like,
which was interesting too. We get to the fight and find out that my opponent is quite a bit lighter. He was like 178. But then when they're announcing me at the show, they announced it as the fight weight was 178. And then they announced my fight weight as 183. So I'm like, okay, well then did I miss weight? Because the fight commission signed off on everything. Like, what is happening here? So I think there was a little less than definite communication going on there. But the fight was at 185. Both fighters made it. I believe he was 180 or 178 or something, and I was 183. So how you want to steer this, boys? Do we want to then just get into? Go ahead, Frank.
What was the pre-fight festivities like? You shared a picture of you. I think was it Roy Jones Jr. you were with? What was the press conference like? What was all that kind of pomp and circumstance like?
There were a couple things. There was the weigh-in. There was a press conference. The press conference was a whole thing in itself. A lot of things took quite a bit of time, but they all got done. I did get to meet Roy Jones. What a gentleman! What a gentleman, and arguably one of the best boxers ever to do it. So, an awesome box to check for me. I'm sure for Coach Alec as well. He has a Bobby Fish. He has an official Fish Tank Fight Club T-shirt now. Not sure if that goes into the gym clothes bin or if that's in the Roy Jones Jr. Good School Clothes closet. I'm hoping for the latter, but who knows? Yeah, very cool, man. Very cool. That was the highlight of the pre-fight festivities for me. Alec, Coach, any pre-fight festivities that stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the press conference was definitely a long one. Meeting Roy Jones Jr. was great. That was awesome. Clarissa Shields was there, and that was great. That was so cool. I didn't expect her to be there, and then I didn't even realize she was like 4 feet in front of me until Floyd was talking about the female TBE, the best ever, the GWOAT. I was like, and Clarissa, like, oh, no way. So I had to get a picture of her afterward. It was nice to create. That was great. Some of the stuff that we did on our own that we didn't have like fight related. During Dubai, we had stuff that fall in Dubai. We both wrote cancels stuff that.
Coach, watch your audio there, breaking up a little.
Sorry, what was the last thing that you heard?
Gentlemen, I'll defer to you.
I think you rode camels.
Yeah. Bobby, Aaron, myself, and Andy all did this dune excursion tour, all on different days. But yeah, we all did the same one. We got to ride some camels, some ATVs in the dunes, and some other stuff. It was a good time though. I had a lot of fun doing those things while we were there. We had to.
Yeah, it was real. I mean, I'll say too, that was probably one of the coolest days. I did it with my wife, which obviously, to get to do these things with my wife, I can't overstate how much of a deviation that is from so many of the years I spent in professional wrestling. Like I'm on the road and I'm in Japan and I'm seeing these cool things and I'm doing it. And it's not that like the boys you're doing it with don't become family. I mean, Christ, I used to travel a lot with Kyle and like we're best friends, but you marry your wife because you want to have her around. So to be able to do this stuff with my wife, I can't express enough how awesome that was. Yeah, we rode a camel and we're in the Sahara Desert, me and my wife. I posted a picture of us in the I forgot what they're called, but they wrap around your head and they're basically to keep the sand. And like I can say this, in those sand dunes, sand gets everywhere. Like places you didn't realize were places have sand in them. I'm still finding it, here home in Ormond Beach. But man, so much fun, dude. So much fun. My wife and I did, instead of the ATV, we did like a 2-person little like buggy deal. And that was fun, man. That was cool. Because I've ridden a 4-wheeler before, but I'd never done one of those. And then my wife drove on the way back. I'd say she was probably, I don't want to admit it, but she's probably a little better at the driving than I am. But then again, I'm not a good driver. We all have talents in this world, Frank. And driving's not mine. Don't judge me for it.
Just make you a bad guy.
Doesn't. We did some sandboarding. Coach Alec, what were your thoughts on the sandboarding?
I fucking suck at sandboarding. Really, really bad at it. I ate shit twice, and the group I was with, I was the only one who did the sandboarding. So it was just those people watching shit. And but it's funny. I got a good video out of it, and I don't really care. I get beat up for everything. It didn't bother me to shit on a sandboard. They're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I guess, if only you knew. Like,
I ate shit on that thing twice, so I definitely know how to bump in the sand dunes. And then my wife goes down on it seated the first time and ended up, I'm pretty sure she was almost back in Orlando by the time she stopped. She had to come all the way back up that hill. And that was the toughest part, was coming back up, because the sand, like literally your feet are sinking like 2 feet in as you're trying to come back up the hill. But then my wife also did it standing, and of course she made it all the way down the damn thing. Meanwhile, her athletically gifted husband, if I made it 5 feet in front of the thing, I was lucky before I was on my ass. But yeah, all in good fun. Our camel took a weird liking to me. I think I'm pregnant. We have the pictures.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, give it 9 months, and we'll see. We'll see how this thing turns out. So that brings us, gentlemen, auspiciously to
Fight Day.
Fight Day. Yes, wrestling fans.
Walk us through the process.
Okay.
You get to the.
What do you mean
get
by
to
walk
the.
us through?
You get to the Coke Center.
The Coke
I
Center.
don't mean cocaine.
I wish they called it that. The Coke Center.
We got to copyright that.
Okay.
Let's start. Let's go before that. How'd you sleep?
Slept well that night. Yeah, slept well. You after the weigh-in, like, you get to eat, which is a huge thing, because there was a point in the lead up where we do the weight cut, and then you even stop drinking water as a whole. Like, you stop consuming anything. How many hours is that, Coach?
A little less than 12 hours before, I would say. Like, you had your last meal and your last half a gallon of water on Friday before noon, and then you weighed in Saturday at like 10 a.m. And then, that Friday night we did like the sauna and everything, and you woke up on weight. You didn't have to do anything else. But yeah, that was that.
I think more than anything, what it is kind of this, and this is like being a little bit of an adolescent, is that the most difficult part was once you tell me, like, okay, the cutoff of all food is here. You somehow barter in your head of like, okay, well, then I'll just drink water. I'll throw some BCAAs in it, be a little bit of taste. I'll chew some gum. I was finding ways around. But once the water is being taken away, like, you're literally left with, well, I can kind of brush my teeth, I suppose. Like, there's literally just nothing left. And I got into that. I got acquainted with how big a part of consuming food and drink is in my daily life, and how many times I just break the boredom with shoving something in my fat face, whether it be a drink or something to eat. And so when you can't, you do nothing but think about those things. So I think that's probably the most difficult part of it. But yeah, you just get it all under control, and my wife kind of kept me in check, and we went to bed, and we woke up, and I felt good. I mean, I really felt very, very good through this whole camp, and through right up to fight. There were a couple days in the fight camp, and then even this week in Dubai, where I would be skipping rope or whatever, and having a hard time catching the rhythm, and then feeling like, man, I just don't have it today. Dennis, Frank, I'm sure you can relate to days working out. Some days you're in the gym and you want to be there and you feel great. And then there's days where you're like, fuck, I'm earning my money today. And I had a few of those start, but didn't finish any of them. Like they all picked up somewhere in it, and I don't know if that's the norm for fight camps or if it was just something in this one or whatever. But even the week of, there were times that I think a less aware me might have gotten down about the way that I felt on a few different things, but just pushed through it and felt good. So fight day really was feeling very good. The nerves a little bit anxious, but I think that was a conversation that Coach Alec and I had, and I was grateful for it, where he kind of helped calm my nerves and had expressed like, well, if you weren't nervous or there wasn't any anxiety, I'd probably
That's a problem.
I'd probably be more surprised.
What was the game plan like?
Coach?
Game plan. Well, we knew who he was fighting. Didn't know too much as far as his height or his reach or anything like that. It was very hard to find any stats on it. He ended up only being about an inch taller than you when you both had the boxing shoes on. Like, he really wasn't that much taller. Somewhere between me and you with height, we're not that far off either. So, like, it was just, he wasn't that tall. So we had some game plan strategies based on some of his habits, some of the things Bobby was good at, and then just, trying to be different in a sense. Like, we were working things like hand traps, setting up, feinting a lot, attacking the body more, and not just being like a straight headhunter. And Bobby listened on a lot of those things. And what I brought up earlier, I was very proud of that post that we had worked. You found it at one point. You posted with that left hand. You cracked him with the right hand and made his head turn. And I remember watching that, and I was like, hell yeah, that was like hundreds of reps just coming through. It was great to watch. But yeah, we knew his forward pressure was going to come through. He was going to press forward at the dude, back him up, keep him on the ropes. Your Muay Thai clinch came in handy more than once. One time it got you in trouble. Just everything we worked there was working really well. We didn't get to show everything that we wanted to, though, just because it didn't last that long. But it is what it is. And, everything that we did work, though, still happy with it, still proud of it, and still proud of you. So, yeah, it was good. It was really nice.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed myself when it came to the proximity of the action. I realized that Muay Thai clinch and that stuff is like, it's involuntary. Like, it's there from the sparring and the fights that I had done before or whatever it is. And I think that's kind of, and boxing again. So we talked about it earlier, Frank, about the subtle differences and whatever. Like in boxing, when there's a tie-up or the proximity is too close, one guy grabs another guy, vice versa, and then they wait for the ref basically to break it. And even if there is some action there, the action is really kind of just pitter-patter, and it's for show more than anything, and then it gets broken up. So I was feeling anxiety in those moments because at first I was, collaring him and then twisting him the way that we do in Muay Thai. And that's the muscle memory. And I like I said, I wasn't really thinking like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. That's just what came out. And realizing his reaction was what it was. Like, he wasn't really prepared for that. And the way the rules are in boxing, like there's probably some of that, but not all of it. And where's the line drawn? And so it got a little bit confusing. And then with it having only gone like 2 rounds, there was 2 points that I know that I watched where I definitely grabbed a clinch, spun him, turned him in ways that were advantageous to me, but then also got reprimanded and forewarned from the referee. So there's one towards the end of the fight where I go back to the clinch and I twist him, and I can remember watching it back, consciously thinking to myself, like, no, you can't continue to impose contact here. Like, you need separation. And I did, and I tried to throw a punch, and the punch ended up missing, but it it was just me kind of gaining an understanding for how much of that I could use, and then where I need to, pump the brakes. And then unfortunately the fight came to an end. So we weren't really able to explore that any further, but I definitely felt like I was starting to see things that we had worked on, and that was cool. This whole thing, just this whole process of changing and learning. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for more, really.
Well, that begs the question: what's next?
Go to Disney World.
All right.
Is that what you think?
I think you and Mickey be a good fight.
Mickey
Mouse.
from- oh,
Mouse.
right. I just said Mickey. I just said, oh wow, I am brain dead, boys. You said Mickey, and I'm like, Mickey Gall. I'm the only asshole in this world who, when you say Mickey, I think Mickey Gall, not Mickey Mouse. It's like, yeah, I got a Mickey Gall hat with the ears, and what a douchebag.
Yeah.
Not him, me. Anyway, yeah. So we do have a fight. We do have a second fight, and Frank, it's against you.
Okay, that's why I'm making weight.
Yep.
That explains a lot.
Yep. It's going to be in the mug.
Okay.
The mug is the name of our high school gymnasium coach.
Wow.
Yeah, do it in the mug.
Well, it
Harry
was multi-use gymnasium. It wasn't just named the mug. It's an acronym.
Just yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, multi-use gymnasium.
Oh,
There you go.
I mean, the original one was called the Pit, and I think that's because it was literally like a fucking pit. But
well, that wasn't an acronym. Purposeful, intermittent faculty.
Touch all.
Did
No.
you say faculty? That faculty doesn't start with a T.
Oh yeah. I thought you said piff. The piff. Just heading down to the piff. Anyway, back to the point here. Yes, Frank. We're thinking maybe February. Global Titans. I am under a 2-fight deal, so there is a second fight to fulfill the contract that is supposed to happen. February is what has been discussed, but it's not been set in stone. An opponent is not been set in stone.
Should I call Jake Paul?
Unless Jake Roberts wants to dance.
We can call Jake Roberts.
I don't know which is a tougher fight.
Jake Sneaky.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Well, which Jake then? You said which Jake you talking about? Jake Snake.
We can go Jake Steak. Yeah. What was the backstage?
Jake the Steak. There's
Jake
a
the
gimmick.
Steak.
Jake the
Yeah.
Steak.
Jake the Steak.
Yeah, and you come out with ribeyes.
Yeah. That'll kill you.
Yeah,
That'll kill
well,
you.
it would kill me. I'm a vegan.
You're vegan.
I'm a vegan.
Yeah.
Coach Alex a vegan. Fight number 2, I would like to kickbox. 100%.
Me too. I would love that for you. So much more than boxing, more than MMA, but MMA would still be cool. But we're just, I don't know. I'm not a boxing coach. You're not exactly a boxer. You should do kickboxing. That's what you love. That's what you do. That's what I'm good at coaching.
I think if we're gonna put my best foot forward in the second fight, whomever it's against, kickboxing would be the way to do that. But like I said, I am open to, and I'll say it here because it's my podcast, so it's mine, and I can say whatever I want within reason. If we don't, so we don't get canceled. Why? How is that even a thing? Like cancel culture? It's just so. Hoy. All right, I digress. Kickboxing would definitely be my best foot forward, and I would like to put my best foot forward. So for fight number 2, that's what we're angling for right now. Maybe sometime in February, maybe a little later. I don't think there's a chance of it being any sooner. But yeah, if you're out there and you're listening.
So open contract right now, all comers. Come get some.
This one's with Global Titans, but then my commitment to them is over, and I don't know if we got to talk with might do something else from there. But there's room after Fight 2 for other stuff too. So let's make this thing a party. I don't know. And I can't explain enough how enjoyable this process was to me, this whole thing. And then being able to bring my wife over and if we're going to do it in Dubai again, it's going in my contract. My daughter's got to come too. We can't, this is, it was fun.
That's good.
Now, Frank, Dennis, we can try to work it in the contract, but we're gonna have to do a podcast there.
So your wife came with you to Dubai.
Yes,
Okay.
she did.
And when you go back, she's going with you.
If I have it my way, yeah. There were definitely some frustrations for her that have made her make the statement more than once. I'm not doing this again. I'm hoping we get enough time in between the last one and this one, and maybe she forgets about some of them, and then she just next thing you know, she's on the plane. Or
Don't forget. They don't forget.
No, they don't.
Well,
Get that out of your head.
I just gotta get her drunk.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to what you said before. Frank asked about your wife. If the stipulation is that we can come with you to Dubai, but we have to do a podcast there, I have no problem with sitting with you guys for an hour and a half and just recording a conversation. I'm in. And that's okay.
Even
All right. Yeah.
As long as I don't have to fight anybody.
I guess the facts of the situation are this: is there is a second fight. It's going to be with Global Titans. We don't know what it's going to be. I'm hoping that my feet. I'm hoping that the most educated feet in professional wrestling will be on display, because I will say this: is I am itching at this point to get back to the jungle and get in some kickboxing classes, because my shin guards for 2 months now have been sitting in the back of my truck. And every time I go in and take out my bag with my gloves and my shoes and my robe and my egg weights, etc., my shin guards are looking at me like, "Hey, the fuck did we do? Why can't we go inside anymore?"
I think for the next fight, you need a robe.
The robe?
You need a robe. You need a robe like Rocky. Like Rocky.
Like Rocky with the meat packing?
Yeah!
Oh, I didn't know if you meant like Rocky or if you meant like the Nature Boy.
Well, either or.
I think it'd be what?
We talking donkeys now?
We can talk donkeys if you want.
I think it would be spectacular if you came out in a fucking ring robe like Ric Flair. That would be.
How about that? Ring robe like Ric Flair on a donkey. Riding a donkey to the ring. Coach Alec holding the rope on the donkey's face. Coach Alec.
hold
on.
That's sick.
By the way, this is about the time in the podcast where shit gets off the rails a little bit and we start losing it. See? See what I mean?
There's the donkey.
What?
You know what's coming next, boys. I don't think Coach Alec's ready for it. It's coming.
Remember how I said we go off the rails a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm here on this podcast. Great.
Yeah. I've been drinking all day, guys. I'm shit-faced. 10:30. I've put down a bottle and a half of Jack Daniels.
The real training.
Yes, the real training. I don't have a problem though, Frank. This is very manageable for me. Very manageable. I'll be to work on Monday. Oh shit, tomorrow's Wednesday. Next Monday. Next Monday. All right, boys.
Take us home.
Well, I look forward, to Fight 2. Wherever that will be, wherever that takes us. Coach Alec, if you will accept my invitation, you are you are with me.
Yes, sir.
Permanent member of Team Fish. And I look forward to the podcast number 2 with Coach Alec Brooks. That will be sometime as we get closer to, when is the fight again, Coach? December 17th?
Well, you brought it up earlier, and I wasn't going to say anything, but you're bringing it up again. I am not going to be fighting in December.
Oh, shit balls.
Yeah, I decided not to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% in it, and you shouldn't fight with that being like the mindset right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so just being with the fight. I'm not putting any of this on you. I'm not like it's your fault that I'm not fighting. No,
It was your fault. It was your fault.
Oh, yeah. Frank, you're a straight shooter. Frank.
I just didn't get to do as much as I would have liked to find. Part of that's my own fault. I didn't get up and go run on the treadmill maybe like I should have, or whatever. I did one workout and it wasn't even that hard, and then I'm not feeling great still from some of the food, and I didn't train tonight. I'm probably not going to train tomorrow, so it's just taken a toll there, and I wouldn't be ready in that time. I'd be too worried about it. There's no sense in rushing. So
well, then let's do some of this now. Then let's at least give the listeners an idea of because you're not just my coach. Obviously, you're younger than I am. I think you could be my son. You've been how many fights amateur prior? What's the fight career here? A little bit. Let's just touch on it. We'll come back and we'll get it another time.
Sure. So I've done 3 kickboxing fights and 2 MMA fights. My first kickboxing fight was when I was 20, and then I did a couple more. And I took a very significant break between my last kickboxing fight and then my MMA debut last year. Just dealing with stuff, not wanting to fight, being a little depressed at one point, but we made it through all that. Then I was like, I have to fight. What am I doing? I was spending so much time coaching, and I still have this dream of being a pro fighter. Well, you can't be a pro fighter without first doing your amateur MMA. So I got my first amateur MMA fight in May of 2021. That went well. I choked the guy out the second round. Second fight was here. I knocked the guy out in the first round. And then I was supposed to have 2 more this year, technically. Didn't happen. And then this third one that I was supposed to have in December is not happening. We're shooting for January, though, for the next one.
Awesome.
And I think that's going to be just fine. It'll work out.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we will revisit that whenever this gets sorted. And
I think the next time we do a round table, we'll bring in the Filthy one.
Oh, we'll have Filthy back. Okay.
We'll have a little bit of a round table discussion about the finer arts of mixed martial arts. How's that sound?
Wow.
Maybe it would be the finer aspects of mixed martial arts.
Or we can do that too.
Frank. Sorry to call you out there, but
Okay.
sorry, not sorry. Loved it. Coach, you and Filthy Tom met numerous times or a handful of times? What's the deal?
For sure. I met him at the Jungle a couple, and then we had somebody competing in Vegas, and he was there because he had people from his gym at the time there. I think he might still be there. I don't really know, honestly. Syndicate MMA. He was there, and
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he had a few people from that gym fighting. We had one girl from our gym fighting for a belt. And yeah, I met him again there. But yeah, I mean, I hope that he remembers me and knows who I am. So.
Oh, he remembers you. He had a lot of nasty things to say about you. Oh, he remembers.
Filthy things.
He's not forgotten you, Coach.
Yeah, he was like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Tom," and I was like, "Fuck you." And no. He was nice, super good guy, and we went over some just fun stuff. One of the first times I met him, talking about certain techniques and doing all this and that. He was a good guy, man. He was very helpful, very cool, and it would be awesome to chit chat with him.
Yeah. We don't like him much on here, but that's cool. All right, gentlemen. Frank?
Oh, I feel good.
That was you've been doing some breath work? You've been meditating? That was like a I mean, I can appreciate that.
You gotta breathe in, breathe out, brother.
Yeah. Well, hey, next week we got a guest that's he's a breathwork coach. We got something on tap for the listeners that it's not your norm, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna actually be pretty cool, Coach. I'll let you know where you can hear it when it's up and we get it all sorted out.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, Frank.
I'm good.
I guess. Dennis?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Okay.
Everybody's
Say
good.
goodnight.
Frank,
Wait.
Don't do this again, Frank. Don't do this again.
You guys-
I can lead the horse to water.
How about thanking our guest for coming on?
Okay. Thank you, Coach Alec. Dubai was a blast. And I can't wait to get back to the gym for some I'm in need of kicking some stuff.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to have you back, and you guys appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna tape my arms down at my sides for the next 3 weeks at the gym. Just gonna kick. Just gonna kick. Yeah. So we thank our guest. I thank Dennis, Frank. Yeah, it's good that you're here. Good
All right.
And
Well,
the millions of fans.
What's that? You say?
And the millions of fans.
Oh, I thought you said it's OnlyFans.
oh, yeah. We still don't have one
Start
of those.
We got to start one.
Oh boy. All right. Listen. Say goodnight, Bobby.
Good night, Bobby.